sure that whatever you're starting is consistent with your fundamental beliefs and values. Now, let me tell you another piece. Firstly, before we get in, you could start any kind of business, and enterprises are of many kinds, but focusing on commercial side, business can be of many, many kinds. You could have, for example, you could have service businesses, lawyers, doctors, chartered accountants. Those are all service industries. Okay, computer repair people, etc. Those are service industries, service businesses. You can have pretty much a goods kirana store. You can have everything where you're selling certain goods. You can have businesses selling certain services. In today's world, you can indeed have a tremendous amount of creativity in what you're trying to show. Okay, so let me here give you a small example of what could be a
He's searching something.
just a minute. 1 minute. I'm sorry about that. So anyway, those are some of the creative businesses that you can start. There are a lot of opportunities for starting pretty much everything. Now, for those things, a certain set pattern may not be necessary. But I'm talking more in the kind of a conventional business that is not as much creative as some of these new businesses tend to be. And so let me begin at the beginning. Bibo Nalbandkar was a member of the Mumbai Birdwatchers Society. He loved birds. He loved to see, the romantic guy who loved to see the birds coming in the morning. Ek dal par tota bole, ek dal par maina kind of guy. So he set up a bird feeder outside his house. He moved out from Bombay, bought a bungalow in Lonavala, and he set up a bird feeder. And he would put bird feed, sit in his gallery, and watch the birds come and eat every day, every morning. But he faced one serious problem. And the problem was that he would put the bird feed, and the squirrels would come and eat the bird feed. So he's actually feeding the squirrels instead of the birds. So he goes to the local pet shop, and he says, give me something that'll keep away the squirrels. So the store clerk asked him, well, what do you want? So he thought first that maybe he could put some thorns on the pole. He put the thorns on the pole. It didn't work. The squirrels found a way around. Then he thought he'd put some adhesive. He put that. It worked for one day. The next day, the squirrels found a way around. Third day, he thought he would put an electrified fence. He thought that would work. The squirrels found a way around. So finally, he got frustrated. He tried after trial after trial after trial. 15 days he tried. And then he went back to the store and he said, do you have a squirrel-proof bird feeder? Okay. And the shop owner, the store clerk said, "Sir, I don't know, but let me get the owner. He may know. He's been in this business for a while, so he may know." So he went and he got the owner, and the owner comes and says, "Yes, can I help you?" And our friend Nalbankar tells him, "I am looking for a squirrel-proof bird feeder." And the owner looked at him gave him an amused look and said, "Sir, there is no such thing as a squirrel-proof bird feeder." So our friend was shocked. He said, "What do you mean there's no such thing as a squirrel-proof bird feeder?" He said, "I mean, such a thing has not been manufactured. Okay, there is no squirrel-proof bird feeder. No matter what you do, the squirrels will come." So our friend paused for a minute and said, "No, wait a minute. You mean in the entire world there is not one? Nobody has come up with one?" He said, "No. Man has conquered night. We invented electricity. We've conquered the moon. We've gone all the way to the moon. And you are telling me that this rodent with a brain the size of a pea is able to outwit human beings with respect to the squirrel-proof, with respect to the bird feeder?" And the owner said, "Yeah, that's what I'm telling you." Okay. Although I wouldn't say take so many words to say it, that's what I'm telling you. There is no such thing. So our friend says, "Well, tell me why. Why is it we haven't been able to invent a squirrel-proof bird feeder?" And the owner said, "The answer is very simple." He said, how much time do you spend? How many minutes a day do you spend thinking about a squirrel-proof, about the bird feeder?" And he said, "Well, I'm a guy. I got a family. I got a business to run, etc. So I'd say probably about maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day." He said, and the owner turns around and says, "How much time do you think that the squirrel is thinking about how to outwit whatever is the obstacle that you put there?" So our friend started thinking. He said, "I never thought about that. That squirrel is thinking every moment of every day, 24/7. He is thinking about how to overcome all the obstacle that you have put up there. That is the difference. Okay, that is why that squirrel is able to beat you and every human being who tries to stop it, because he is thinking about it all the time." So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be successful in an enterprise, what is required is commitment and passion. You got to be committed. You're thinking about it all the time. You're passionate about where you're going, in which case there is no question of a failure. It is your okay. Now, what does this mean practically? It means that when you commit to a goal, you don't have a daily change program. Okay. It's not like when my son was in the second grade, on Tuesdays he wanted to be a policeman, on Wednesdays he wanted to be a fireman, on Thursdays he wanted to be a lawyer and whatever. So no, you got to be consistent. It can't be a daily change program. Now, when you are thinking about reaching your goal, thinking about your business, all that will make you open to be on the lookout for opportunities in all phases, all walks of life, to get yourself a very good mentor, to get customers, products in every walk of the business. Okay? And the third point is you need to humble yourself in learning. Arrogance, in the sense of "I know everything," is the perfect enemy of progress. Okay, if you think if you be a know-it-all, that's not going to help you at all. That's good. That is probably one of the biggest hurdles that you will have. Now, having said all this, the next item, which is extremely important, is it's not enough to have a goal. It's not enough to be clear. You also need to get all the relevant information. Okay. I remember quite a few years ago when I used to work with a major Vanaspati company. I don't know if the younger generation today understands, but is there anyone here who remembers Dalda? Use the chat box, please, for giving me a response. Nobody? In the 70s, there used to be Dalda, that was Hindustan Liver, okay? And there was another company called, okay, I'm getting some responses. Okay, Vanaspati Ghee, very good, Rano. Okay, I was working with a company called, that was selling Suryamukhi Vanaspati. Question, does anybody know who was manufacturing it? No one. Okay, Suryamukhi Vanaspati was being manufactured by Wipro. Wipro is today a software company. In the 70s, they were manufacturers of Suryamukhi Vanaspati. So anyway, I used to be working with them, and on one occasion on a visit, I happened to visit Ratlam, and we had a wholesale dealer of Vanaspati there. He was a typical prototypical wholesale dealer, must have been in his 50s, sitting in his galla and all that. And while we were there talking to him about business, two gentlemen came. They were, in a sense, they were very enterprising people. Apparently, they were school teachers in the local school who were enterprising enough to organize a celebration of some sort in the school, and they wanted to make some sweets. So they came to buy some Vanaspati, and they asked him what's the cost of Vanaspati. And those days, Vanaspati used to be sold for it used to be sold in 16 or 17 kilo tins. And they wanted that much. That's the reason they came to the wholesaler. So they said, what's the cost of Vanaspati? And the guy said, I think he said 179 rupees in those days. So the two of them then kind of conferred with each other and didn't know what the hell they were doing. Okay. So after about some, what they say, kanapusi for about a couple of minutes, they turned around and they asked the wonderful Vanaspati dealer, they said, iske upar hamali lagega kya? So the old man looked up at them and with a very enlightening voice and facial expression, he told them, iske upar shakkar lagega, ghee lagega, atta lagega, sab lagega iske upar. So in other words, you need to know what all you require to succeed. It is not enough to have a goal. It is not enough to be committed. You also need to get the relevant information. The relevant information about the product. If you are introducing a new product into the market, remember that the market cannot take more than 10% of 10% new, 10% novelty. Okay. If, for example, in the 90s, you had come up with an idea that told people that, look, you can have your phone show your way home, people would have laughed in your face because it was way more than what the market could handle. So remember some fundamentals like this, consumer preferences, get the how-tos. And one of the best things that you can do is to get a mentor, somebody who has been in the business, somebody who is in this business, who is successful. When you get a mentor, don't get somebody who has failed out of business, get somebody who's successful. Because they like the business, they know what to do. The failed guy, there was a reason why he failed. He's not going to help you. Okay. The next item is going on to how are you going to run the show. You plan your work and you work your plan. And if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That's very, very important. So drop a plan that that will lead you to success. Okay. Now, while you're drawing up a plan at this place, it is also very important. Now, as I said earlier, traditionally, when we think of business, we do not include lawyers, doctors, etc. But the fact is, a lawyer is a businessman. He is running a business. He's got customers. He's got an audience, etc. Everybody those are all enterprises. Now, the biggest problem with when you're starting an enterprise is that you do not plan. You do not plan ahead, and number two, even if you do, people fail to focus on the big picture. See what? So, for example, what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, if you are starting the business, let's say for a year, you have a target for a year. At the end of the year, I must have so much in revenues or so much in consumers or whatever. Fix your target whichever way you want, and then don't swerve. But in the meanwhile, what you also need to do is to make a provision, a realistic assessment of how much, what are going to be your expenses. Let's say you estimate your total expenses for the year, irrespective of how much money you make. Your non-variable expenses the whole year are going to be, let's say, X amount of rupees, say 100,000 rupees. Make provision for the 100,000 rupees. Where is that money going to come from? Be clear about it. If you're going to borrow, be clear. If you're going to ask somebody for money, be clear about that. Because what kills us is not the big elephantine problems. The elephant is big. You can look at it, you can plan it, and you can shoot it. Okay, it is big enough. It is these tiny little problems, these ants that come and keep killing you all the time. Where am I going to pay the phone bill for 250 bucks tomorrow? Where am I going to pay the cell phone bill? Where am I going to pay the gas bill? How am I going to pay the electricity bill? Those are the things that will kill you. So when you are planning ahead, you must make sure that you plan for a whole year and make sure that these expenses are taken care of so that those don't kill you. When the bill comes, you're clear, I don't have to worry about this. There is a provision in the budget that this bill is being paid, period. So all your intellectual calories are being used for the big picture, for the elephantine problems, okay? Now the last and probably the most important thing is rejection. You will face rejection. It will be a rare person who does not get rejected the first time or many of the times throughout your first year while you're a rookie. And the question then becomes, how do you handle rejection? Now, let me ask you a question. There are too many people here, so I'm going to direct this question to two of our organizers, both Pooja and Pratibha. This question is directed to you, but all of you can listen to it and please get the point that I'm trying to make. Pooja, supposing I told you that you've done a wonderful job, okay? This is a good job. How does that make you feel? What's your reaction? Instantaneous.
Yeah, it makes me feel like very appreciable and like I get encouraged by such good words.
Okay, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Pratibha, question for you. If I told you that your hair is green, what would that make you feel?
I couldn't hear you properly.
If I told you that your hair is green, how would that make you feel?
I will get shocked first.
I'm sorry?
Like, I will get shocked first. Like, how will my hair be green?
Okay. Now pay attention to this one. This is important. Supposing I told you, and I won't pick on Pooja and Pratibha for this, but just listen. Everybody, listen to this question and give me. I'll keep 15 seconds open for a response on the chat. Okay. If I said, and I'm talking to you, each one of you. You know, I have addressed seminars and given workshops all over the world. I must have addressed over 5,000 audiences and workshops. And you are the biggest jerk that I ever came across in my whole career. How would you feel? Type in your response in the chat. Nobody's got any responses? Okay, angry. Anyone else? Annoyed, fair enough. Disappointment, okay. Sad. Okay. I see where you're coming from, but understand, and this is a very important point for you to understand. People say what they say, okay? What I asked you, how would you feel after I spoke? How would you feel after I spoke does not depend upon what I said. What Pooja feels, or what Nishant feels, or what Sunita feels after is dependent entirely on what Pooja or Sushant or Nishant or Sunita, what you tell yourself after I stop talking. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. That is so important. That's a very, very important part of life. It's not only for your enterprise, but it's important for your life. What I said, what is important is what you tell yourself after I stop talking. You can tell yourself, my God, I'm so, how did this guy feel? I am a jerk. How did this guy figure it out so quick? In that case, you're going to be angry. You can tell yourself, boy, what does this guy know about me? Something is wrong with this guy. He's a mental case. He needs a psychiatrist. Is that going to affect you in that case? Not at all. Okay. You can have 15 different reactions to that one statement. Okay. But what you need to understand is that how you respond, your reaction is going to depend entirely on your self-talk. Our mind talks to us. We tell ourselves 14,000 thoughts every hour. I'm good at this, I'm bad at that, oh, I shouldn't have said that, oh, he called me an idiot, so I'm going to be lurking for the rest of my life, for the rest of the day. What are you sulking about? Because so-and-so called me an idiot. So what? He doesn't know you. You know you better than anybody else. Now, I'm dwelling on this, I'm emphasizing this because this is critical. When you're out there in the market trying to sell your goods or products, trying to sell whatever it is that you're trying to sell, or you're trying to get something done, there'll be a million people who will tell you a million reasons on why it will not work. They'll say it is harebrained, somebody else tried it when, Jawaharlal Nehru was the prime minister, it never worked, it's not going to work, and on and on and on. The question will always boil down to whether you have the self-confidence, you have the self-respect. Are you confident that you did your homework, that your plan is sound? Do you have the self-respect to say, no, this guy is wrong, or this woman is wrong? Okay. I will stick to my plan and go ahead. Okay. Now, let me basically summarize this for you in a nutshell. We will have ruthless clarity about your goal. Be clear about where you're headed. Goals must be concrete and clearly defined, realistic but viable timeframes, consistent with your beliefs and values. Passionate commitment. Don't have a daily change program that'll make you be on the lookout for opportunities. Humble yourself in learning how you need to succeed. Get the relevant information about the product, about a customer preferences, how-tos, the nuts and bolts of the business. Get a mentor. Be disciplined. Plan your work and work your plan. Set up a budget for the year. Clear all the small fry problems. Focus on the big picture. The last one is gear yourself up for this, because this is going to be the 700-pound gorilla in the room. Rejection, be ready to face it with self-confidence and self-respect. And I am sure that with the both with the gumption as well as with the wherewithal you have shown on this, you will succeed. Ultimately, what lies in your heart, what lies within you, is a lot bigger than all the challenges that you face. Good luck. Thank you very much.